let's talk about buyer's agent's compensation. It used to be that more often than not, the compensation for a buyer's agent was paid by the seller. Now, regulations have changed and the responsibility to pay for the compensation for buyer representation, the agent who represents and protects you, the buyer, falls on you. The buyer's agent can still negotiate with the seller's agent to get them to contribute to that compensation or pay it all. Whether it be the entire amount or a portion of it, they can still negotiate that. But now with all the new regulations that all agents must follow, at the end of the day, making sure that the buyer's agent gets paid is now the responsibility of the buyer. Legally, you have to sign an agreement before any buyer's agents in the United States can work with you. That agreement will always say that the buyer's agent is ultimately responsible to pay the buyer's agent commission, not the seller. That said, the seller can still pay the commission. It just has to be negotiated off the MLS. The new regulation does not say that the seller can't pay the buyer representation fee. It's something that can be negotiated on your behalf. Some sellers will still choose to pay the buyer's agent compensation, and some won't. So you can choose to write an offer on a home where the seller pays the fee for your buyer's agent, or you can choose not to write an offer on a home if the seller is not willing to pay it. And again, all commissions or compensation is always negotiable between all parties, and it always has been. There is no traditional, customary, or standard commission amount. Commissions are negotiable just as who will be paying for them is negotiable. That compensation can seem like a big chunk, so is it really worth it? If you choose the right broker to represent you, it definitely is. Seller's agents are just that. They are there to represent the seller. You want someone who's working on your behalf. Most experts agree that buyers who try to represent themselves on their own often end up paying more for a home because they don't have the negotiation skills or the market knowledge that an agent does. They might also miss out on finding the best home for themselves because they don't have access to all of the listings and the information that the agent has. Not only that, but buyers who don't have a real estate expert in their court can end up with dozens of legal headaches and unexpected costs and end up in litigation. It's a very complex process. When buyers decide to represent themselves in a real estate transaction without the expertise of a buyer's agent, they might think they're saving money.
Hello, I like money.
But when you consider the overall financial investment and the potential liability involved, it's really a false savings. Having representation makes a huge difference. For example, according to the National Association of Realtors, homes sold directly by owner, known as for sale by owner, without representation, tend to sell for an average of $95,000 less than sellers who use an agent. So, if having professional representation can make that much difference to a seller, think about how much it could actually benefit you, the buyer, even if you're the one paying your agent's commission. And you know what? Your agent doesn't get paid at all until they've succeeded in getting you into the home you want. Here's what a great agent does for you. First of all, they guide you towards the right home. This means that they start by connecting you to a reputable mortgage loan officer so you really understand what you can afford. You don't want to waste your time looking at a Mercedes if a Kia is all you qualify for. A great agent will also help you get a clear understanding of what you need, your priorities, and what you love to have in a home, and the must-haves, so to speak. Next, before dragging you around on home tours, they'll research different neighborhoods and homes to find you a great match. They'll guide you to detailed information on things like school scores, crime rate, traffic patterns, local amenities, and so much more. Here's the deal. An experienced buyer's agent knows things that you probably aren't thinking of, like, is there a lot of traffic in a certain area? How does a certain sun exposure affect the value of the home? Are certain areas or certain neighborhoods selling for more or less, and why is that? These are things that you wouldn't think about or you wouldn't know about if you weren't an experienced agent. Before you ever step in the car, you'll know exactly what you're looking at and if that fits what you're looking for. Then, once you find a home you like, they'll research the current market and market trends even further. And they'll talk to the seller's agent about the seller's priorities and their hot buttons. At this point, they'll also ask the seller's agent if the seller is or is not willing to pay the buyer's agent's fee. All of this is to help you write an offer that will be attractive to the seller at a price you can afford with terms you want, or to help you decide whether to make an offer at all. Your agent will present your offer and begin the negotiation process. A great agent will be a terrific collaborative negotiator with the experience and expertise to know how to compromise and create the deal that you both are happy with, the seller and the buyer. Your buyer's agent will be able to negotiate things like rent backs, potential maintenance issues, repair requests, and closing costs, including the buyer's agent compensation. Your agent will negotiate the right price and terms and make sure you're not paying more for the home than you should. They'll negotiate credits and additional items on your behalf that the seller will pay for instead of you. The seller's agent wants to protect the seller and get them the most money and the best terms. As a buyer's agent, their job is to do the same for you. Their goal is to negotiate all of this and make sure you got the best possible price and terms. It's like a loving boxing match between the listing agent and your agent. Once your offer is accepted, your agent then manages all the people and the processes to unearth any issues and finalize the deal. They'll order inspections like roof and pest inspections, plus any special inspections needed like pool, well, or septic, and they'll point out any issues that arise from them. They'll also coordinate appraisals and discuss the results with you. They'll order and review the title report and point out any red flags. They'll keep on top of lenders and help you provide whatever documentation is necessary. If your state or situation calls for it, they'll coordinate with attorneys. They'll review the seller's disclosures and point out any potential problems and negotiate a resolution to those items. They'll deal with the title and escrow companies. They'll connect you with home insurance companies and home warranty providers, and they'll help you choose the best options for your situation. Your agent will manage all of these people and processes to keep your escrow on track, and they'll communicate regularly so you know exactly what's going on. Their job is also to make sure that you are protected from any legal liability and to help keep your initial earnest money deposit safe and ensure the home closes. Yes, your agent will spend literally hundreds of hours, much of it behind the scenes, working on your behalf. And it's only when they succeed and you have the keys to your dream home that they get paid. Again, per agreement, you as the buyer are contractually responsible to pay this fee, though your agent will negotiate and try to get the seller to pay it. So this and oh so much more is what a good buyer's agent will do for you and why you need one. That, my friends, is exactly how you break down the value of your compensation to buyers. Now, here's the deal. There's tips and tricks and strategies on how to actually get buyers to raise their hand. It's not just about open houses. There's so many other ways. I do this thing called the listing process. Well, I do the same thing for buyers. There's an entire process through running ads and driving traffic to a funnel where I will educate buyers and basically win before I arrive. You need to do the same. Value, differentiate how you do business, and you are going to be just fine. If this is helpful for you, do me a favor, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.